Welcome everyone to the final podcast of the year. And I am joined on the DweeBros podcast. Well, wait a second. Us humans, we are obsolete. So what I did, I went ahead and I accepted that. And I used something that's been kind of viral, the ChatGPT. The AI that's been going around, and I told it to write the introduction to this podcast. So, without further ado, let my, what is it called, flesh bag shut up. That's me, I'm a flesh bag. Isn't that what they call humans?
Yes.
Okay. This is ChatGPT. Welcome to the DweeBros podcast. I'm Zach, and with me are my co-hosts, Travis and Jacob. On our show, we'll be discussing all things video games, movies, and TV shows. We're three friends who share a passion for all things nerdy and can't wait to share our thoughts and opinions with you. Tune in each week as we discuss the latest releases, revisit some old favorites, and have some fun along the way. Join us as we geek out and become the DweeBros.
Oh, okay. The ending was a good. You lost me everywhere else but the ending. Everywhere else was
good.
Isn't that good for AI?
It needs a couple software updates, but it could get there.
Become the DweeBros.
Yeah, I literally, here was the prompt. The prompt was write a podcast introduction for a podcast called the DweeBros Podcast starring Zach, Travis, and Jacob, where they talk about video games, movies, and TV shows. That's all.
That is phenomenal.
So,
I was hoping it'd pull data, like it'd go like I'd go on YouTube real quick and just watch all the thousands of videos.
I bet it, it downloaded all of our opinions.
And then it'd be like, all right, now this is what Zach always says every time we start an
It would
intro.
be so cool if you could feed it all of our podcasts and have it make a podcast of what we
I
would
bet
say.
it.
And
You know
print out a transcript of what we would say on a podcast.
I know how you could do that. If you got the transcript from each video and threw it into that and let it feed into it, I bet it would pop out something like.
We could probably get YouTube to export with its auto caption. There would be errors, but we could probably get it to export.
errors.
something.
We might not have to be physically on set anymore, because then we could use AI like the Synthesia. Synthesia is this other thing
we
where
each
it's just
get
like
a chat
the face.
bot. That'll be the next podcast. We each get a chat bot and we let them talk to each other.
Yeah.
Wait, everything's been leading to this. We really should take. We should get it. There's got to be a software we can run our stuff through and get a basic transcript. We should feed an AI a transcript of all 70 whatever podcasts and have it make one.
Yeah.
And just see what it says.
And call it the best one.
Because it would have like each of the way we think about things and talk about things.
So.
Oh my gosh.
I think that's the move.
But that is AI. Did you guys play with any of this? Did you?
I made an account and then it didn't work for me. So I was like, this isn't worth my time. And I moved on.
I haven't, but I want to. I just get intimidated by these things because I don't even know where to start. I really don't know. Is OpenAI a site?
It's called.
It's like a
if you
chat
just put
bot,
in, if you put in
AI.
There's different types that do different things. So there's one that like does art. It does one that does like taking art and moving it to the mouth of stuff or whatever. That is creepy. I was watching some of that today.
What's the one you use for this?
So this was called ChatGPT, and that's the one that's been going around because you can put like, hey, write me a JavaScript program that adds blah blah numbers into whatever. Like it does all this crazy stuff, and it will give you the file. It will tell you how to run it. It'll tell you like step by step what to do with that. It felt like I felt the same in my heart when I was messing with this thing as I did when I first got my computer. When I was a little kid, because when you were a little kid, you're like, oh, everything's open to me and it's a playground, and I haven't felt that way in 20 plus years. So it's like getting this and seeing the power. I was showing my wife this, and I was like, hey, our dogs are named Lulu and Millie, and I was like, let's just write. Tell me a short story about two mischievous puppies named Lulu and Millie. And it wrote like a funny, endearing like story, like a little short story. And we were cracking up, like, and what you can do is like, hey, do this, and if you see a mistake or something, you can say, hey, this isn't correct. Can you make it like this, or can you make this more funny? Can you make this program do this instead? And it will take what you just told it, and like then it will adjust it, and it'll print that out. It's unbelievable. And I think it's good. These kind of things are going to replace Google, because for Google, you have to do an extra step. You have to type it in, and then you have to research, You have to go through all these web pages, and then what I find, a lot of people, it's kind of became a meme. Now what do you do? What do I do most of the time when I'm searching on Google? I'll type in best light bulb, blah, blah, Reddit. I'll put Reddit
I do Reddit
afterwards.
a lot, yeah.
Then I can see what a human is, because Google's kind of broke the algorithm, because when you search what are best light bulbs, it'll be a blog
It's ads.
You got
that
sponsored.
it'll be a blog that like kind of gamed the system, and the only way you can game the system, if you read the article, it's the best light bulbs that you can get are the best light bulbs, and the light bulbs that are the best. It's like
Yeah.
written like by an old AI, like,
Yeah.
and it's like you have to scour this whole thing and find the best
Yeah.
actual information. ChatGPT cuts everything out and it goes, "This is it. This is
Yeah.
what you're looking for. Here's how to process this." It's unbelievable. It's really, really freaking cool. My nephew was over, and he had to write a paper, and my wife was helping him. And I said, just do ChatGPT, because once people started seeing this, they were like, "Oh, you can have this thing write essays."
Yeah.
And it's extremely good. And sure enough, like I was like, "What's the prompt?" or "What's this?" And I was like, "Okay." And I put in ChatGPT and I sent it to my wife or whatever, and she wrote back. She's like, "Oh my God, these are really good." Like,
Yep.
so she didn't copy paste it, but she was like, kept going back to what it said and like was borrowing stuff. But literally,
Yeah, that won't be something that lasts though.
and well,
I
here's
don't know how you can stop it.
you can't.
Right.
You can't. And what I think is going to change. So I used to be a software developer, and I will say, and it's kind of like some people will not agree with me, but it is kind of a thing in that industry of like, most of the time we're just Googling how to fix a problem. And then we copy paste it from online, and then we adjust it to our needs. So a lot of my software development stuff was I knew what to search for. Like I knew what queries to get, like how to get that information. And I think that's going to be what everyone has to do now. Whereas like before, it's like you have to write a paper and you take forever. But like if you know the right queries and the right things to search for, that's power. That's the new thing that you should be. That's the new knowledge. Because now it's like do you think freaking teachers that are already underpaid and overworked are going to have time to look through the AI? There's no way. They're going to be able to.
No way. Cat's out of the bag.
Yeah.
I hope they figure it out, because that'd
So-
be really dumb. So they
so-
need to figure something out.
So I think it's going to be less about like, I hate to say this, maybe like research, but more about how to get the information. How do you pull the information to you quickly? Like a grapple hook of information.
I frick it, dude. Like chaos mode.
We're too far gone. It's all downhill from here.
I think that what's kind of interesting is that, like with that kind of stuff, like creating a paper or whatever.
Yeah.
There is just simply no way that you're going to stop it. But we already use the internet as a crutch. I feel like there's such a flood of content and information. People on average tend to be less knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen if kids continue to go through school and like they don't even have to write their own papers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen. I just don't know what the implications are going to be.
I mean, you're gonna have to start breaking the way that you do things. More
I think-
presentations, more public.
Because what I'm trying to say is like, okay, before Google, people older than us, maybe like the great generation, they would probably look at us and say, "You guys really don't understand anything."
Yeah.
Like, and the reason, like, you look at music they made back in the day, like in the 40s and the 50s with like jazz and stuff, and like, yeah, there are people today that know their crap, but like most musicians back then, you had to really understand theory and practice. There's nothing else to do, but you had to know it. You had to study it. Now there are so many. You still have to work hard at it, but there are so many tools at your disposal. A lot of people are not carrying that information with them all the time at the same level on average people were back then, and it's going to just continue to become even more so. Like we're just kind of, I feel like our generation is just a transition to where we're really headed, which is complete and utter reliance on machines. Complete and utter reliance.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
I think that it will change education forever.
Yeah.
Like playing with that, I was like, we're done. Like cat's out of the bag,
their
Pandora's
teachers
box.
will
Like
be an AI. You will have a teacher that is an AI, and you learn from that AI.
Well, what's the point of the public school? Well, you're going down a rabbit hole. At that point, ditch the whole public school for. There's so much money, ditch it.
But-
let everybody work from home and take a laptop and learn from a stupid computer.
I think that's where
it's over then.
Yeah.
Just end it. Just chop it off now.
Andy,
what are you
Just
talking
chop it
about?
off now then. Everybody's got a
what off?
laptop. The whole school system then.
It's not prepared to educate.
They don't
millions of-
care.
Are you really advocating for getting rid of public education?
It's all okay. One, you really, if the rabbit hole we're gonna go down in
yeah,
public
let's not,
education.
because I vehemently disagree.
Yeah, I
with you.
absolutely hate public schooling. It's the biggest
Let's
joke in
move
the
on.
world. So,
move
but it's
on.
okay.
Yeah, that's the only reason you know how to read, dumbass.
Oh no, I know how to read because I wanted to learn how to read.
I would wish you good luck without public school.
I asked the
learning how to read.
ChatGPT to teach me how to read.
But that's what it is now. That's what it's going to turn into. It's going to be a reliance on something that's, again, if you want to learn something, you have to go put the effort into it. So it's the idea that now we have given another crutch to people. Just give everyone laptops. That's what we do now. They all have laptops now. Which again, I will say this: they've done a good job trying to get to a point of using technology to educate and instill knowledge and to push them to learn. But let's be honest, everyone still Googles answers. Everyone still looks stuff up.
But that isn't mutually exclusive of learning. My point earlier wasn't that people nowadays don't know anything. All they do is use Google. It's that it's transformed to where we use Google and technology to supplement what we actually have on hand as knowledge, right? We don't have as much committed to memory, and that allows us to dabble in more things, and it allows us to have a wider reach and a span, but we maybe have less deep understanding. And I don't think that I don't think getting rid of education really makes any sense.
No, I mean you can't get rid of it. I'm saying it's going to be restructured. Like you're no longer like what's the point? What's the point of having public schools then? What's the point going into a school?
It's harder. It's harder to explain why something is when I can just Google it, and that's already the thing now. I can just Google and be like, oh, this. Well, actually, this. And it's like, well, you don't know the heart of how we got there. You know what I mean? It's like when you had to show your work in school for math. It's like, mx plus a equals whatever. It's like, well, how you got to show your work. Like, how did you?
I'm just saying, 10 years from now, don't be surprised if there's a public school that's completely digitally online and funded by the government.
No, I get that. So you're advocating for no education. You're advocating for no physical.
No,
schools.
why would we get rid of education in general? No,
I don't think you're going to get rid of physical schools in the near future because
that's what I'm saying.
We're
10
so
years.
reliant. Even 10 years, we are so reliant on a society as that is what our children go do.
That is kind of like a daycare. Yeah, it's like little kids' jobs.
So you're not getting rid of. There's still a physical need for little kids to not be at the house by themselves.
There's always like this is the end of the year podcast, so we know we always go over all things.
Maybe they'll put their VR on, and that's how they'll go to school.
Augmented reality, but that's another thing. But nonetheless, my stat of the year is school attendance tracking. Private schooling is on an all-time high compared to public schooling. And some of it, I think, is just because of people are just transitioning out of it. So I think public schools, one, they need people in the school system in order to get money. They need to have students interacting and being part of it because that's how you get governmental funding is per capita and also test scores. So, I mean, it's going to be something that it should be watched. It should be noticed upon. Because if private schools are getting so many enlisted in students, public schools are going to have to make some kind of adjustment, and the government's not going to allow that to happen.
What are we going to do?
I don't know.
If you have the answer, put it in the comment below.
What's happening to our education system? Answer that one.
Actually, go on ChatGPT and ask what we're going to do.
That would be a great one. I'd love to know its opinion.
Yeah. It might tell you how to fix it. A lot of people have been doing that. Like, how can AI actually exist in this world and asking it? Like, oh, we actually can supplement learning and all this stuff. It's like, you're going to kill me next year.
I mean, it could be an awesome creative soundboard too, though. Because I mean, sometimes I don't know about you guys, but like I get really like if I'm trying to think of something and I get really blocked up and I'm like I can't work through this at all. Like there's no amount of Google searches that get you there. It's nice to have someone else's opinion on a quick draw.
And that's what that even school paper did for them. They didn't. Now they personally didn't like copy paste that, but they did go, oh, that's a good. They didn't. They're goody two shoes. I would do it. I would absolutely do it in a second.
Absolutely, dude.
They're too good for this world. But that's what it did because some of the stuff I put on there I hadn't thought of, and it just gets you. It leapfrogs what Google does. Like it's not. I mean, it does do some stuff I think Google can't really do, but for some of the other stuff, it just skips Google's research period.
I guess my thing would be it's not doing the same thing as Google because Google, and it's a lot, especially if you're like, what's the best product for X, right? It's subjective, but if you're talking about objective, I don't know that you can trust an AI to give you an objective answer on things that are objective.
Yeah, there was an example.
You use Google to get objective information.
Different fields are going to have different opinions because I saw a lawyer on there, and they said, "Tell me or write me a document or like a thing or whatever it is, a legal document for X or Y." I forgot the name of it, what it was, and he said it was pretty dang close. He was like, it wasn't perfect, and he actually wrote. He said, in Texas, you have to have 2 witnesses for this thing, and it wrote back and said, "You are correct," and it spit out the same thing with that fix that he said. Yeah. So it's actually teaching
crazy.
It too.
It's really until they continue to sharpen. It's going to be for getting getting the first pass at things and that sort of thing.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure what information we're giving it, it's recording, and it's a self-learning AI. There's no way it's not.
It's scary what things it'll reinforce that people just take for granted, and it could really condition people to see certain things a certain way.
Yes, because then you're only listening.
It's a mirror. It's only taking what's ingested.
Yeah.
Right? So, I don't know. I don't know enough about how it all works, and I'm interested. I don't mean to say I absolutely do not mean to say that I don't think it's fascinating or that it's truly going to disrupt everything. I totally get that. I think it's maybe that's not what you're saying. I think it's a slapdash to say just give kids that and then they don't get school.
No, that's
ridiculous.
an extreme. That's an extremist idea.
But I also I continue to wonder, like, we have a lot of really bright people, like, on this planet and people that know how to do things and have a lot of knowledge, but it makes it that much more appealing to just be really lazy isn't maybe the right word, but reliant.
Mm-hmm. I think lazy is
very reliant. Very reliant. And
but we had the same conversation if we had the podcast back when Google came out too. Probably, you can find all this immediately. Like, they don't have to actually do.
I'm sure that's the same. I'm sure it's the same cycle. There's always a cycle with technology, in my opinion.
But I think it will turn into, instead of like, again, I think it will go into what made. I don't mean to brag, but I felt like I was good at like knowing what to search in Google and copy paste and change that for my needs. If you're fast at that and you're good at that, that's going to be really helpful for you as like, as you're learning, people are changing, growing in their careers. Like if you know more than I do of what to search for and how to manipulate that information, I think that's the next step.
Yeah.
That we don't really have that until now. AI is a part of that. Like, can you search better and you know what queries to put in more than me? Like that's going to actually boost you in your field and stuff. If you know how to manipulate the information.
I'm going to start using this for work.
Dude,
I
you should definitely look into it.
Here's the reality.
It's crazy.
Speed me up.
It's the end of 2022.
Yep.
Our podcast is done with flesh bags.
Yes.
At the end of 2025, though, we won't be here anymore for this podcast.
Yeah.
We'll have our AI versions uploaded.
Do you see that? That's the Death Stranding Collection Edition. That's going to be me in a glass tube.
I don't have an answer for
Oh my gosh, now Siri's freaking taking over. Oh my gosh. I'm already a robot.
Well, is this our end of the year podcast?
This is, and usually what we do around this time is we give our top 3 movies, games, TV shows, and movies. But before we get to that, I'd like to thank Squarespace. No, I'm just kidding.
With Squarespace, you can create your own powerful website at the user's fingertip without AI help.
And put in the code FleshBags for 5% off. No, I think we should talk about something that took 13 years maybe to talk about.
I mean, yeah. So, yeah, we could do that. That's
fine. Avatar 2 came out.
It did.
All the time and all the work. So Avatar 2 came out. I do want to say, you doing that noise reminded me of when we were watching this movie. I forgot to tell you. So 13 years it took. Avatar 2, Way of the Water, sequel to the 2009 Avatar. We sit down, we're in the theater or whatever, and we get to the part when they're in the water. You've seen the trailers, probably. They're in the water. There was 2 ladies in front of us. I don't know if you saw this, but I looked over. Like, I could see, like, kind of off to the side of one of them in front of us. And right when they got in the water, it's the best CG to date that we get to see. You know what I mean? It just came out. So it's literally the most beautiful thing you could see CG-wise. We just see it when they go underwater. So it just is happening, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm just really just letting it hit me. And I look down, and that lady's on Facebook. And I was blown away. I actually watched what she was scrolling at because I was like, what's better than this?
She's like watching the trailer.
And it's literally like just somebody's like selfie and stuff. And I was like, I cannot believe that people's attention spans. I know that's bad.
I didn't see that. That's insane.
But I'm like, that's literally the best thing you could be seeing, and it's right in front of you.
Here's a
like,
critic's opinion, and then the general audience is like, I'd rather be on Facebook.
Yeah, if you're really not into it. But at least I would understand if there was like talking and something boring, but we just got underwater. And that was happening, and I was blown away.
Bad, man.
And I looked down,
That's
because I guess it did distract me because I saw like a phone screen, and I looked down and I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy. But all that to be said, the first one was such a, advertise. It's James Cameron. It's his next big movie. All this hype around it, like the CG at the time. Again, like that was groundbreaking and pretty crazy. But the story and that the characters and dialogue and stuff for the most 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10 average, with like ungodly visuals on top of it, like hiding what's underneath. So
a mid movie with great visuals.
Yes,
was the first one.
Yes, the first one.
Yeah.
And this second one, I was like, I think it's gonna be a mid movie with even better visuals. And me and Travis and a bunch of people went. I was blown away.
I was blown away. I
I
have continued thinking about this movie for like 3 days.
Yes, because what was funny to me was all the news around it. James Cameron's like things that he was like his little quotes from his interviews were crazy and sound like Donald Trump or whatever. Like some of the stuff he said.
Would come out in 2014 originally.
Yes, and like the time that it's
we weren't
taken
ready for it.
and like how average that movie was to me. It's like the time that it's taking, the money that's involved. It has to be the 5th best-selling movie ever to break even. I think all that made me excited for this because I said, why are we spending so much money and time on what was a whatever movie in 09?
I've been making fun of this in our group chat for like a decade.
Yes, and for that it made me interested because I said this is crazy. So we went and saw it, and I liked it way more than the first one.
It was.
I still think some like the characters and dialogue and stuff was whatever, but better than the first. Like I didn't think it was the masterclass.
The characters were much better than the first one.
There's
some 80s cheesy kind of dialogue.
Yes,
but it sat better for me in this one because it was having so much fun. The first Avatar movie is not fun. It is very boring. I don't know how to explain. Like the military people are trying to be fun. This movie was fun, dude. They're like chasing whales on the ocean.
Yeah,
the boats are chasing the underwater stuff. There's whales jumping out of the water and like landing on people. People's arms are getting ripped off. It is fun.
People and there was an interview where James Cameron's like the studio got onto him for a scene in the first one where it was like, this is just exposition. Like, why are we like watching them fly for so long? Like, it's a 4-minute scene and all they're doing is flying these things. And he said, that's part of the world. And I got that from the first one. I was like, I get that people like that. They made a freaking place in Walt Disney World for it. So Pandora, they made that whole land or whatever. So it's like, I get that. And in this one, I was just in the seat, just wrapped up more than I was in the first one.
Yeah.
Like going underwater and the graphics underwater and then flying. It's like I was engrossed to the point where I won't spoil anything if you want to go see the movie. The bad people or whatever in this movie are chasing with a wildlife. And I was like getting kind of sad, or I was getting kind of like affected. And then like I got knocked out of it. I was cracking up at myself because I could not believe myself. I was like, this is a computer animal that doesn't even exist in the real world. And I was affected. I was like, you got me, James.
Well, in the scope of this one, the what's at stake is so different. In Avatar 1, it's this nebulous concept, like this tree and this spirit is what's at stake. I understand the people themselves, but the people could leave. They're tied to this spirit in this tree in this forest. That just didn't. It was so
nothing gripped. Nothing gripped.
It did not grip me. This movie, night and day. Like, it's a family movie. It's about a family on the run, and you like the kids. You connect with the kids.
The kids had a chance to be annoying, and they weren't.
They weren't. There's
four
fun. Of them. There's little ones and older ones, and you like them, and they all have their own plot and their own thing. And then there's the bad guy from Avatar 1 was a complete whatever to me. Whatever out of 10, the old guy. And whatever, you'll see this movie, it's not him, but there's he's an important part of this movie. And it was heady, it was sci-fi, it was an interest. They're very on the nose with the way they set it up at first. I'm like, am I going to like this? And I loved it because they really leaned into it. And there's some interesting, almost reminded me of like Star Wars, like Darth Vader, Luke, except the Luke in this case was not my favorite character in the movie. But like father-son type dynamics of like, do you go this way? Do you get pulled this way? Do you get pulled that way? I was shocked.
I was shocked that they took this mid-movie and made an engaging plot. And there is like a character that I think has really bad acting. There's some bad actors in this. But their characters and like what they were dealing with, and
very good.
I was like, this is interesting. Like I'm actually intrigued by these characters' interactions.
This movie had great action. The first one had a lot of action. None of it was great. It felt like cartoony and goofy. This movie had great action. Like end to end. The last hour of this movie with the final battle. It also didn't. What was weird was the final battle. It felt intimate. Like it wasn't thousands of soldiers and thousands of Na'vi. I mean, it was kind of like a little clan versus like a little like shipping boat, and like there was action, but like some of these, like it just was thoroughly entertaining.
Yeah.
Thoroughly entertaining
So
movie.
recommended.
Yeah.
I was not
highly.
expecting. I was
Go see
expecting to
this.
to see cool visuals and tell everybody it's a mid movie. Like
Go see this in 3D. I would say the 3D.
I accidentally I made it clear. I was like, I don't want to see a 3 hour and 3 hours and 10 to 15 minute movie in 3D because I was like, I'm gonna get sick. When we got there, the person's like, all right, here's your glasses, and I turned to look at everybody because I was like, God, I didn't mean to do that to everybody, and even myself, I was like, crap, whatever. Put the glasses on. First 1 minute to 2 minutes was kind of sick.
Yeah.
Just gonna be honest. After that, for the rest of 3 hours, I was fine.
Yeah.
Like, so I would recommend 3D if you haven't been sick before. But and with that high frame rate and what the stuff they did, like it didn't really bother me.
And the last thing is we've always talked about Avatar. Something I really appreciate about this movie, it is a unique property.
Yeah.
It's not a book. It's not like
it's an original
remake.
thing.
This is an original world, and I appreciate that a lot.
Me too.
I really do.
In a world of this is a sequel, but I mean, like in its own like new property and stuff of all these other things. Hey, we're bringing back Ghostbusters for the 30th time. It's like, hey, we get a new Avatar.
This
like,
was so
cool.
much better than the first one.
Yeah,
so much better. So,
Sivako.
did you see this, Jacob?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Don't plan on it.
Well,
But maybe I'll change my mind.
I think
Don't know.
I think it's worth checking out.
I think it's good.
I saw the first one. I was like, this was a waste of my time.
I'm with ya.
I highly disliked the first one.
Yeah.
Extremely disliked the first one. This movie's just a great time.
I say go with a friend. I think
How
you'll
long
have
is
a
it?
great time. It's 3 hours.
It's
Oh, that's too long for me. You lost me.
I'm telling you, that you would have a blast.
You lost me. I'm like, I'll give you 90 minutes.
I will say for a 3 hour movie, I mean, you knew it was long. I'd go to the
3
bathroom.
freaking hours?
There was no wasted part of it.
Oh,
there
what
was
part
no,
sniffing is he doing in that
with
movie?
a 3 hour movie, there's like a B plot that you're like, I hate when this goes here, it drags or whatever.
It's like The Last Jedi did
I
that
was
crap.
interested in everything going on, and there was not anything that
I
felt
will
like a
say
waste.
it did feel like 3 hours, but I liked being in that world, and
like-
that's what I heard people say about the first one, and that never connected with me, and
Yeah,
it did in
I
this
agree.
one.
Can I give you an
I
idea?
was like, I'm in this world.
I thought The Joker was long. I sat there and I was like, man, this is a long
I
movie.
don't
The
know how long
Joker
Joker-
is such a tonally draining movie.
I
that-
know, but
this one you're just gonna have fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
If you like fun,
It's like
this one's for you.
It's like Titanic meets like a James Cameron action Terminator style movie meets like
see, I haven't watched Terminator.
I don't know, Jaws. Like it was
I
like
haven't
they're
watched
out in
Jaws.
the water.
I will say too, what I think this movie is really good at is like they will spend 25-30 minutes on an underwater scene or them
Does it
chasing
have any
something.
rom-com stuff in moments?
There's
A little
there's
bit,
little
yeah.
romance.
There's everything.
How long's the rom?
But that-
I like a good rom-com.
Okay, you're gonna.
There's little romance. There's romance subplots. There's coming of age stuff. There's war stuff. There's like a sci-fi stuff.
There's everything.
Give me
There's
Adam
everything.
Sandler and a good rom-com.
It really is
you
like
got me.
every James Cameron movie.
Blue
put in
James
one.
Cameron, Blue Adam Sandler.
What
But
is James Cameron? Why have I heard that name before? Was he
did
done?
Terminator? He
I haven't
did.
I
seen
would even
those.
say that's
Titanic?
Jake Sully, the main guy in the first one, but like I did not give a crap
Yeah.
about that guy. I really liked him in this movie.
Yeah.
He was good. He was like
Yeah.
a grizzled old vet.
I'll
just
think
trying
about
to
it.
It's just it's the guy from not spoilers, but scenario spoilers.
Scenario.
It's the guy from Avatar 1 is
Yep.
older now,
Yep.
and he's got these kids, and the humans are chasing. They're trying to kill him. That is the plot.
Nice.
And he and his kids are on the run.
Ah.
It's really good. Like
Sounds
it's
more
extremely-
actiony than rom-com.
I will say too,
It's very
this
good.
reminded me.
It's
a-
who they
I
meet
believe-
when
I
they go
believe,
along.
yeah.
You might have even brought this up when we were in the theater, Travis. You said, and maybe this you were talking about something different, but you said it kind of reminded you of Evangelion in the most recent movie, the last one, in that they spent so long in that last movie kind of hyper detail on a village or
Yeah.
like whatever, and this spends so much hyper detail on the wildlife and the plants and the animals to the point where when that animal thing was happening, I was sucked in because they spent freaking 45 minutes on that
Yeah.
thing. So when that came up, it's like you spent the time, you deserved it. Like it, you know,
is it on streaming?
Not yet.
No,
That's a movie I feel like I need to watch in sections.
Chapter 1.
whatever
Yeah.
you got to do,
Chapter,
man.
whatever you gotta
Well,
do.
I'll talk. Let's talk when it streams because I ain't
All right.
no way I can sit in a
Well,
theater
do we
for
roll into our movies of the
3
year?
hours.
We can do movies. Yeah, we'll do movies. 2022. I didn't see too much.
Yeah.
Um,
My phone.
But you know what? Like I had mine, and then we just saw this the other night, and maybe I'm gonna change mine a little bit.
Let's do number 3.
We'll go number 3. Okay.
Have I watched them?
I'll go first.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
I might have to change mine live while we're doing this. So I'll let you go first.
Those.
Because we're talking about Avatar.
I want to give an honorable mention because it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
Scream 4. A lot of fun.
Oh,
I'm not
Scream
even
4.
a Scream guy, but me and Jess saw that, had a lot of fun. One more honorable mention. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Okay.
Very good movie. That was a little long for me. I felt like they had stretched it just a little bit too thin.
Yeah.
But really good writing, fun
that.
action, fun, unique scenario. Good movie. Actually, yeah, but I already said it. So yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
Um,
Any other honorable mentions, or did we get into our list?
I am like seeing Avatar screwed everything up for me.
This is last year for me. Remember, I was juggling, and then I forgot about it.
You forgot Evangelion.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with my number 3.
Okay, go with your number 3.
Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Top Gun Maverick, for me, was fun. Very well put together. Really good summer blockbuster. It was like an Ace Combat movie, which I really appreciated. A little cheesy, but it was a really, really rock solid, fun action movie.
Yeah.
Top Gun Maverick. That's my number 3. Jacob, what's your number 3?
I don't think I've seen 3 movies this year. I'm trying to think of a movie that came out in 2022.
Yeah, just put in movies of 2022 and see what you saw.
Okay, that one came out in 2022, so that one's number 1 right now. You're gonna have to skip me.
How
dog.
about how about you let us get through ours and then you might have one.
You just do a movie of the year. All right, go ahead, Zach. Number 3.
I said number 3, The Batman.
Okay, that's my number 2. So
The Batman. I had some issues with it, but the fighting and the mood and the cinematography
came around on that. I
and
like
stuff.
the Batman.
Yeah, the cinematography and stuff. I thought about it and I was like, hey, like that was a good Batman movie, and the feeling of stuff like that. That was really cool. Again, I had some issues with it, but it was fun, and I would see it again and see a sequel.
Just to piggyback off what you're saying there, Batman. I loved the detective. It was so gritty, and the detective, and like people were getting murdered, and it was 7. Like, I really was impressed by that.
Yeah,
movie.
cinematography was gorgeous. So.
Beautiful movie. Okay, so I did Top Gun, Batman. You did Batman. What's your 2?
I said Top Gun Maverick.
Okay.
We saw this movie. It made me crazy afterwards.
Yep.
I think we told that story on the podcast when it came out. It was a no bullcrap movie. I feel like even when you're talking about Everything Everywhere at Once and stuff, or any of these movies, just have something where it's like, what are we doing? Like, are we borrowing off this concept? Are we doing this or whatever? I thought Top Gun Maverick leaned in. It played to the beat of its own drum. Yeah. And it was an 80s movie through and through with new looking CGI and all this other stuff, or Tom Cruise actually flying a jet plane, whatever. It just was enjoyable. I came out of that and I just didn't have any problems with it. I just really freaking enjoyed it. Yeah, that's my number 2.
So I have my top 3.
Oh, nice.
Because I can confirm I've seen 5 movies this year. That came out this year.
Maybe more than
What's
me.
your 3?
Okay. No Marvel movie made the list.
None did for me. I saw a few, but none. They were all right.
Yeah,
none were bad.
None were bad. None were great. Yeah. But my number 3 would be Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Okay.
I heard people liked that one.
The only reason why, it was the 3rd best on the list. It wouldn't. If I probably saw more, it probably wouldn't make the list. It was fun. It was a good time. I had a lot of good laughs. It was a good movie. But that's the bar.
That first one was mid to me, and I keep hearing people really liked the second one. So
yeah, that would be the bar for me.
Okay, what's number 2?
Knuckles.
Number 2 would be the Batman. I did see the Batman. I had to watch it in multiple settings. It was a great movie. I mean, like they did finally of all the world like things. I love Batman. I love all things animated Batman. I went on an animated Batman binger this year. So when I watched that movie, and now I had to go back and remind myself that I watched the stupid movie. That's why it's number 2. But it was really good. I love the dark undertones. I love the investigation part. Batman is a detective, and I'm glad they got back to the roots. So great job. Way to be.
Nice. Well, do you want to give your number 1?
Sure. Mine's an anime movie. Dragon Ball Super, superhero.
Nice.
That would be my number 1 movie of the year. They took that. I don't know if you guys have watched Dragon Ball Z Super. It was a new, basically the continuation, the retcon of GT, because GT never happened. It's only what happened after Boo. But they said we're going to continue Super, but we're going to start with a movie. And normally they do that tendency, but this movie was off the chain wickedly good. They took a different animation style, which they went cell shaded instead of doing like your traditional like Dragon Ball Z like drawing, and it was absolutely crazy because we wasn't sure how good it was going to be. But from start to finish, they took two characters who are not Goku and Vegeta, and they elevated it and put it on a plane where I'm like, I could watch this 3 more times, which I did watch it twice. So it was a really great movie. I highly recommend it in terms of anime movies. I highly recommend it in terms of art style, in terms of like, I even remember the music. I have the music on my playlist.
That's cool.
So it was good.
That's cool. I always feel jealous. I've never finished Dragon Ball Z, so I can't watch these movies when they come out because people really like them, but...
Yeah, I mean, I always say that you can watch Super. You don't have to watch Z, but Super is good. I don't think you miss on Super. Yeah, there's no filler in Super. It's all good. It's all good time.
Is Super the remake of Z? Or is
no, Super is the continuation after Z.
Okay.
Just know this: there's a pink blob that came to the world, and now he's good.
Maybe I'll just jump in with Super.
Just jump into Super. He'll be okay.
Well, I got a feeling. Movie of the year.
You guys want to say what I think you're gonna say?
Well, you go ahead.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
You go ahead.
Can I take a guess?
My movie of the year, against all odds.
Show this to Travis in 09.
Is Avatar: The Way of
I thought
Water.
you were gonna say Dune.
That wasn't this year.
Oh, I thought Dune came out this year.
Dune
that was
not
last year.
This year. Avatar: The Way. I never would have thought that.
That's so funny. I should have. Okay, retroactively, I'm just gonna before I say my number one. Avatar is an honorable mention.
Oh,
I gotta give it. I think I should. I need more time to maybe sit on stuff, and it's hard because I did really like those 3 that I mentioned, or those 2 I mentioned. Number one, I gotta give, and I was back and forth. I had Top Gun as my number one the other day.
Okay.
And then I had this movie as number 2. Everything, Everywhere at Once.
Okay.
I think this movie has issues, but the reason it gets number 1 is out of everything that came out. This one, even with its issues, I think it ran long in the tooth.
Yeah.
It kind of lost its way a little bit, but it was just fun. It just had this wackiness factor, and it said, "Oh wait, you have to do anything to knock yourself back out of this timeline or whatever." And it's like, that concept was fun for me throughout the whole movie, to the point where at the end when they're going up the staircase and some of the Evangelion moments where they're like, spoiler alert, they're like both rocks. They turn into a timeline where they're just both freaking rocks and they're talking to each other.
Yeah.
And that sits for a little bit, and I was like, you know what? Like, for them to let that sit in a theater and like I'm sitting there and it's just silent, it's just 2 rocks talking with one another. It just had subtitles, and I was like, hey, like this is stuff I'm into the cerebral stuff and all this, I liked what they were attempting, even though it didn't land it all the time. Seeing that in 2022, I was like, I'm down for this. And again, it's not, I don't think it's going to make my top decade movie of this decade or whatever. But the more I think about it, that movie tried a lot of stuff that was engaging and intriguing versus all the other movies I saw this year.
That movie rocked, yeah.
Avatar 2, because I just saw it, it's weird to be in this list or whatever. I do give it an honorable mention. I did really enjoy that. And maybe it might change. Maybe next year I'm like, that should have been number 1, whatever. But
Everything Everywhere All at Once, I love that ending where towards the end when the husband and the wife are talking in the alternate dimensions too. I actually forgot about that until you were just talking about this. That movie was really, really good. My list is so fluid. There was just a lot of things I liked for different reasons this year.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything
kind of tough
that
this year.
captured me all year, and that's why Avatar, I've been thinking about it the last few days.
Yeah.
And actually, there's not been any other movies this year that I've thought about continuously. So it's hard. It's been a hard year to kind of stack them against each other. But
and I usually need time because it was so soon I saw it. I need things to, sit in my mind too.
Good. Good year for movies. Odd year for movies. I have not watched any of the Oscar-ish movies, so
me neither.
I just can't. I just don't.
Don't blame you.
I just don't keep.
It has to be like an interesting. I have to want to see it. It can't be like Oscar bait. It can't be in this other stuff. If I hear a lot of people talking about certain movies, Everything Everywhere was one of those movies. I heard so many people talk about it, and they said you just got to see this movie. It's like, okay, like kind of looks engaging.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of choose movies.
When I think back on this year, I'll think of that as like the indie darling, and I'll think of Avatar as like the big movie for me. And then Top Gun was the summer movie.
Yeah, that was a fun summer.
So those are the ones I'll remember. Batman I won't necessarily associate with this year, but I just thought it was really good.
Yeah,
it was good.
Can we talk? Hey, we are a video game podcast.
Normally we end with video games.
Oh,
yeah.
You can't end with. TV shows.
You have to do TV.
That
shows.
was the, sorry, the AI just cut it.
Come on,
cut that.
man.
TV shows. This year, amazing year for television for me. I had a ton here on the list, and it actually was hard for me to narrow down.
Let me
to
go
top
first
3.
then. That way he can be honest.
Okay.
TV sucked this year,
Okay.
and I didn't watch anything.
Okay. Hot take.
So I don't have a top 3. But I'll tell you this. There is one show that I do want to give a shout out. It would not be on this list if I actually took TV seriously, but I don't. So here's the one show I did take seriously. It's Welcome to Wrexham. It's a documentary.
I think there's another one you might like.
There is?
Yeah.
Was it Ted Lasso? Ted Lasso came out in 2020.
There was a rumbling.
Yeah, that's up there, but like
rumbling.
they ticked me off, so they don't deserve it.
Okay.
They make me mad. So
Okay.
nonetheless,
It was Attack on Titan.
Yeah,
That's what I
Attack on
talking
Titans was great, but I'm mad at them right now, so they don't deserve it. I'm subjective. I can make these opinions. So, anyways, I don't even know if I used that word term correctly. Anyways, Welcome to Wrexham. It's a documentary series about a Ryan Reynolds and what's the dude from It's Sunny? He's so forgettable. He's the other Ryan.
Charlie Day,
No, Rob. Is it Rob? Not Rob Ryan. It's the other Ryan from It's
Ryan
Sunny
Reynolds, and Ryan Reynolds.
No, it's you ever seen It's Sunny in Philadelphia?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the other Ryan in it? He's the actor in it.
Charlie Day.
Is it
That's
Charlie
that's
Day?
what I just said. That's all I know from
I thought
there.
his name was Ryan. So, anyways,
I don't know.
those two they bought a club out in Wrexham, across the country, out in England territory, European territory, and it's a documentary about their decision making. How does two guys who have never watched a soccer a day in their life run a football club?
Okay.
And it's about them cutting players and hiring coaches. And
Is this nonfiction or fiction?
this is real. They own the club to this day, and like the city hates them. Like they have interviews with the people in the city, and like we have 2 American bloats is the words that we use. Saying,
Blokes.
Oh, I
Thinking-
gotta
Two
check this
blokes.
out. That
Yeah,
sounds
thinking
fun.
they can come in and just restore this club. Now the club sucked. They weren't good.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
the fans are so like in love with this team, even though they suck. But the docu-series takes place and it starts to show them what the turnaround looks like for this team. And it's really cool. I'm really enjoying it. It's still going, but it started this year and it's been an absolute phenomenal docu-series. It's probably the only TV show that I like sit down and want to watch on a weekly basis.
Nice.
That's it.
I hadn't heard
Nice.
anybody talk about that.
I've
That's
never
really
heard
cool.
of that. That sounds really
Welcome to
fun.
Wrexham. on
Welcome to
Hulu.
Wrexham.
Sounds very fun.
Welcome to Wrexham.
Welcome to Rex.
Number 3. You were a TV maniac this year, weren't you?
Me?
Yep.
Well, yeah.
More
not-
than any other year, I think. Maybe.
Well, but not all for stuff that came out
Oh,
this year,
yeah.
right? So yeah, let me look real quick at the shows I watched.
if you want to go crazy, I think you can throw something older if you don't have enough.
go,
We've done that in years past. If you can't fill
I
the
know
whole
you
list.
really want leftovers to get into my list.
They won't.
Yeah, I mean, I finished Leftovers. I watched Squid Games. I watched Witcher Season 2. I have 4 things that came out this year that I watched. that
Okay,
came-
yeah. Mention the stuff
But-
this year.
But, okay, one is not an honorable mention. It's Halo.
Halo's on the list.
Halo is not going to make I watched it.
That's an honorable mention.
No, it's just
It's on the list because he hasn't watched as much.
Because I haven't watched it as many things that came out this year. It was
Wow, we're
really
down
a
bad.
tough year.
Man.
TV's been rough this year.
There's
Wow,
3
Halo.
things that came out this year that I watched, and the third thing I liked, so I'll let it be number 3. I don't
It's
know
not
that it
like-
was the best season of this, but I watched Unsolved Mysteries Volume 3,
Okay.
and I'll give that number 3.
Yeah,
it was
that's
spooky.
fair.
It was a fun, spooky time.
That is
There
fair.
we go. blame you.
Yeah, because I'm not giving it to Halo for sure.
That's good.
So there we go.
But he had sex on that.
I know,
Yeah.
but I
Master Chief.
physically at
Wait,
times
he had sex
in that
in
show.
Yeah.
I
Spoiler
couldn't-
alert.
What
I-
the frick?
I could not.
Yeah.
I did watch it, although I
Did
will
he take his
just
suit
shout
off?
out. Normally, I am at least.
He took his
watching-
helmet off.
Normally, I at least watch the Star Wars.
The
and
helmet stays on.
Yeah, the Star Wars shows.
Normally, I watch the Star Wars and the Marvel shows. This was the year Star Wars, I think, actually officially died to me because Boba Fett, Obi-Wan,
Was that this year?
and Andor. It was very.
They all
last-
3
it-
came out this year?
They
I
it's
forgot
Boba Fett
Obi-Wan.
started the last week of December and then spread into this year.
Oh my
Obi-Wan,
gosh.
Oh, they should go on the
Boba
list.
Fett, and Andor all came out this year. And Andor, in fairness, I've heard is very good.
Yes.
So please don't.
Yeah, I've
torch me.
heard that.
And Star Wars Visions, or I don't know, 4 Star Wars shows came out. I didn't even have a debate with myself about watching.
Yeah.
It just didn't.
I didn't
even
watch
try.
any
You
of
didn't
that
watch
either.
Obi-Wan?
Didn't
No,
watch any
and
of
then
it.
the Marvel stuff, I tried like Moon Knight and Miss Marvel. I didn't watch any of them, but I tried to say I'll get to that.
No.
I didn't watch any of those either. So Disney Plus, it is a good value. They do have a lot of original programming. I think that they're doing too much. There's always a show out, and
It's either that or
I
we just
can't
don't
keep
have
up.
the time we used to.
We
Because
live
I
in
wonder
the
if
era of
teenagers
content.
are coming home and they're watching all these.
What teenagers sitting around watching Andor?
I don't know. Maybe hey, if you're a teenager and watching
Here's the
Andor, let us
reality.
know. Because
Hey, if
I
you're
don't.
a teenager watching Andor, I'm not making fun of
I
you.
feel the
I'm
same-
just talking about kids playing Fortnite and like.
I feel the
doing
same way
TikToks. They're
that
not
you
watching
do.
Andor.
I feel the same way about
Am
Disney.
I wrong, Jacob? How
know,
many of
it's
your
not-
middle
it's not-
school students are going home
Well,
watching
I'm not in
Andor?
charge of middle school, but no, none of them watching Andor.
I'm not saying Andor's bad. or
And they're
that
not
you're
playing
wrong.
Fortnite much anymore, but I get what you're saying. You know, it's funny you say Obi-Wan. I completely forgot. I watched Obi-Wan. I liked Obi-Wan. I'm surprised you haven't watched
Is it
Obi-Wan.
your number 3?
You're gonna have to say some more to see. See, here's the issue. If you don't make the list, it's because you won't remember. One,
Yeah, if he hadn't.
I don't remember
Well,
you that
some
well.
things you can be remembered, and you're like, I did really enjoy
That's
that.
not fair. I'm not gonna say. Oh, now that you said it, I'm gonna say that's
You
my
can't
number
call
one.
something your anything of the year, at least one or two, if you forgot it. came out
Exactly.
That's true.
later.
That's-
Now,
Even
Wrexham,
if you really liked it,
You
if
can at least give
forgot-
it 3. You can at least give it 3.
I can walk up here and say without a doubt, Wrexham is in my top 3 because I remember it. I text
Oh,
people
dude,
about
that's
it.
your one. It
That's
sounds
what
like.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But when you say Obi-Wan, I'm like, oh yeah, Obi-Wan was good.
Yeah.
Say something else. Maybe I watched it too. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah,
I
that,
can't
yeah, that
include
could
it.
be your 2.
Yeah, it could be my 2, but that's like it's like a forced 2 because I didn't watch anything
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I think with
get what you're
media,
saying.
I feel the same way as you say about that as I do Game Pass. When I get on Game Pass and there's 3,000 games, it's like I might play something for 1 second, but I get kind of overwhelmed. Like,
Yeah,
I don't have
I
the
do
time
too.
to dump into this.
Yeah.
So I don't even think these new Star Wars shows are necessarily bad. Some people might say Obi-Wan was or
They're
Boba
trying to
Fett.
capture the 40%.
And Andor, I hear, gets a lot of praise. I just don't have the desire because it's too much at once.
Yeah.
If Avatar took 13 years to get to us and it's going to take 2 years to get to the next one, it's like that's
Yeah.
spread out enough to where it's like I'm ready. I'll be ready for the next Avatar.
If they were doing 2 Avatar shows next year and then the movie next,
Yes, then we'd be
December,
sick of
I'd be
it.
like, God, just kill
Yeah.
me. Like I don't want to
Yeah.
do this.
So it is kind of overkill of content. I don't know, but it's
That's
a.
all content is
I feel the same.
nowadays.
It's just a weird thing.
Well, what
What's
are
your
our
number 3?
threes? I had
what's-
Unsolved Mysteries.
What's yours?
My number 3. I had Better Call Saul. So the finale, the final season of Better Call Saul. Again, I will recommend anybody that's watched Breaking Bad. I don't think it's as good as Breaking Bad, but it is an amazing DLC to Breaking Bad. It's
Yeah.
an incredible DLC to that.
It's a crisis core.
It does stand on its own to a point. Like it does. I would never tell anybody to watch this instead of Breaking Bad, or first or whatever. It takes those characters, and it recontextualizes certain characters, and it tries to comment in the series as a whole with Breaking Bad. It does an amazing job at that towards this final season. So I just had to give it my number 3. Great job, Breaking Bad.
Good job.
Number 2.
Number 2. I'm gonna give it to The Rehearsal. HBO, Nathan Fielder. I really like this show. I love the pilot, and I like the rest of it a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I would say even towards the end, it got real meta in a way I enjoyed. We talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, a lot.
I just can't quite say there's enough in the idea for the show for it to have been my number 1 show of the decade.
Yeah.
Like if there was just something missing. I think those episodes were too short. I think that the first one was 45 minutes. That felt good. There was meat on the bone. You could sit with these scenarios. The rest of them were each like 20 or 30 minutes. They felt too short in a way. And it felt a little bit like they were trying to find the plot as they went,
Yeah.
which I appreciate.
And
but-
maybe they were.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a
think
whole
so.
experiment.
It
so.
felt like an experiment, and I love it, and I am so ready for season 2.
Me too.
And I hope season 2 is like an evolution on this, and they, go even crazier with it. But it's not my number 1 for those reasons, but I
Yeah.
really did like it a lot.
Yeah. Number 2, Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
The anime came on Netflix. Short, sweet. Made me want to get back into the Cyberpunk universe. It made me realize, like, this definitely, I just love the Cyberpunk universe. I love everything about it. Very gory, very funny, very just you really connect with this character and this group with these characters and stuff. Love the stuff they explore in that cyberpunk world. It's all interesting. Every single episode, you're like, oh, I can't wait to see like what are they going to do next? Like what are they going to get into? But beautiful, amazing soundtrack. Cyberpunk Edge Runners is my number 2.
Jacob, number 2, Dahmer.
Oh, I saw Dahmer. Bro.
You were the only one of us that saw Dahmer.
Holy crap. Hey,
What's your
that
number
show
2?
that show was aight. Man, frick, I did see Dahmer.
What a way to put it.
I love
Nah, I mean,
that review. That was a good
I
review.
think I think I watched it because I thought you guys would watch it and we'd have something to like complain
And
about.
then I just got upset.
Yeah, like so. Honestly, it's a.
I don't know if I can
I
stomach
got
it.
it.
I
Here,
saw the
hey.
trailer thing and I couldn't.
Here,
I don't know if I
just
can
dig with
stomach
me
it.
because again, frick, man. Did Stranger Things come out this year?
It did.
It did.
Oh, bro, what? Okay, hey, hear me out. Wrexham's 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Stranger Things would be 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Because Stranger Things was dope. I did develop a number 1 because I remembered I watched something 2 weeks ago that was phenomenal, and honestly, it's probably the most I laughed this year. So that's probably why it's gonna be my number 1.
Well, let's
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Do
we're on
number
to
one.
We're on number
right?
ones now?
Yeah, we're on 1.
Yo,
Number one.
South Park hit a banger
Oh yeah, South
this
Park.
year.
Oh.
South Park.
I didn't-
South Park,
haven't heard anything.
absolutely. Paramount, they put out a 2-episode special about, and it was absolutely because they went on this tangent with Randy Marsh. I don't know if you guys have followed it recently. Have you
I
followed
don't know
it
who
all?
Randy Marsh is.
No, I haven't seen
Stan's
this.
dad.
Oh, that character in South
Yeah.
Park. I thought this was a real person. Like, who's
No,
Randy
no,
Marsh?
No.
Stan's dad. Okay.
Yeah, so they went on a tangent with him, like Stan's dad, and he became a weed farmer. So they live out
Okay.
in a farm. They don't live in South Park anymore.
Oh,
Okay.
And then
I
Cartman,
didn't know that.
Cartman on the last episode post COVID, which was the series about after like life after COVID.
Yeah.
He got his mom to get bankrupt, and they live in a hot dog now. So they live in a hot dog stand outside of South Park. So the story starts out with Cartman dealing with struggles because he lives out of a hot dog, and he determines because everyone's running out of water. And they don't know why they're running out of water. And so Randy can't grow his weed. This is all spoilers, by the way.
Spoilers.
This is why I love it
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
You know, you might want to watch it.
I am going to watch it.
You are going to watch
Yeah,
it? And
I'm
I don't want
very
to spoil it for you.
Well, just you can share the scenario.
Okay, well, I'll give you the funniest part about all of this. So there's rich people who are buying a reservoir of water out of South Park because they need it to do everything. And it's all called a streaming service because water comes down a stream. So everyone's
Okay.
buying these streaming services to try to get their water.
Yeah.
Well, Cartman, who lives in a hot dog, looks out the window one day, sees a rich guy building a house next to the stream because he's going to open up a streaming service. And he's like, I know how I'm going to get out of this hot dog. And he goes up to his mom and says, Mom, you need to get fake tits, and we'll get out of this hot dog. And so then it turns into a legal battle because Cartman finds a way to pay for these fake tits, but his mom won't get them, so he gets them himself. And so he's sitting in the courtroom with giant breasts.
I don't even understand what that means.
In a legal battle with his mom.
Oh my gosh.
So it is it's all over streaming wars. This is why. And so anyways, it's a long story. Randy Marsh goes back to being the awesomest character ever made in South Park history. So yeah, that one would be my number 1.
Nice.
You got me wanting to watch South. It's been a long time since I've
Hey,
watched South Park.
It's on Paramount. I don't know if you have Paramount.
I do, yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, you have to check this out.
I'm gonna check it out. I
It-
love South
it
Park.
is
It's been a long time.
Nice.
Absolutely.
You started with no TV, now you got top 3.
Well, because like I had to think.
You had to think of 'em.
Not even think of. I just don't remember. Like, dude,
Yeah.
here's the thing. That's how unforgettable stuff is. Stuff is just pumped out so quickly.
Yeah.
I just forget about stuff,
Yeah.
man.
That's true.
Like even if I had sat here for an hour, I'd come in here like, guys, what did we watch this year? Like, what are things we talked about? Because
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
Wait till the AI just tells you what happened.
I need an AI to keep track of the things I do.
You could have asked the AI to tell you your top
All right.
3 this year.
That's
Are
actually
we on the
done
number
that.
1?
You go
Yeah.
ahead.
Go ahead.
All right. My number 1 this year, definitely Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
You got caught up.
I
in all that.
watched the entire series, episode 1 to the latest one, in like 3 weeks
Yeah.
with Jess, and we love that. It was nice. We feel like we've been behind on a lot of different shows, so I'm glad we picked that one. We picked a good time to jump in.
I think that's my favorite season of Stranger Things. Like,
It was
there's
a great
It
season.
kind of did similar to what Avatar was. Not to the extreme is Stranger Things. There's a ton of characters in Stranger
Yeah.
Things 4. And that's really hard to connect that many characters and many groups and stuff, and they make it work.
Yeah.
And I think
Yep.
I think they stuck the landing.
It
I
was
really liked
very
it.
good. It was very good all around. had a great time with that whole series, but that last season was also really great. So,
my number one, this show has, I feel like, back-to-back years since the show has started airing. It's always been second or third on my list because there's always been something just a banger. This year, it finally gets the crown. Attack on Titan.
Oh yeah.
Years in the shadow, second. It didn't get the top pedestal this year. Attack on Titan season 4, incredible. Just absolutely jaw-dropping moments. This show has gotten better every single season. This season, it's like I finally had to bend the knee. It's like, dude, give it the freaking number one.
Right.
I mean, every single season is amazing of the show. The stuff that they were doing, the stuff that they're setting up, incredible. It just made me audibly gasp a lot of this time throughout the whole show, but definitely this season. So, Attack on Titan season 4, number one,
nice,
easky. Rehearsal gets you mentioned Rehearsal, and I did have that on here. Although I definitely watched this year. I give it an honorable mention. There was, a lot of the stuff. Severance came out this year. I really liked Severance. Righteous Gemstones did another season.
It's a good year.
The Offer, which was that show about the making of The Godfather and stuff.
Yep.
Like there was, Barry. I like. I'm a TV head. But,
Yeah.
I had a lot of TV, but.
All right.
Cool.
Did you do your number one? Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have South Park.
Now I can say it. We are a video game podcast.
Most days.
Tried me.
Or AI podcast, whatever it is. But we will get into our top 3 video games of the year. Jacob, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, I would totally do it. Let me say this first.
Preface.
Preface. Video games have been extremely rough this year.
Okay.
I don't think
I think it's been better than it was last year.
See, this is where I disagree.
Oh.
But maybe because the quality of the games I was playing, which I did, someone did put in perspective for me a couple weeks ago because I had the same argument. There's this phrase that's been going around in my head, like the games have been made to not be fun anymore, but to be addicting now.
Sure,
There's
a
a
lot
game
of
you're playing.
And
That's
that
true
was
too.
You're playing
Yeah.
the wrong games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said, Jacob, you live in the world of multiplayer games.
Yeah.
That's
so,
true,
you
and that's
kinda
what they are.
You're kind of cursed a little bit because multiplayer games have been awful.
Yeah, I totally get that.
This year has been some of the worst multiplayer games I've ever experienced in my life. So it's kind of annoying,
rough year for you.
kind of sad, kind of one of those things. All that being said, I do have 3 games that I've played, but they're not necessarily this year bangers. That makes sense? They didn't come out this year.
That's fine. You go with your 3
It's kind of like in Game Awards where it's like good or best continuing game.
Yeah,
when they do the
that's
Game Awards.
just like, it's kind of one of those things where I have to preface and just say that.
So you're not going to give any award to a game that came out this year?
I will give an award to a game that came out this year, but that will be, this
Okay.
one is not.
Okay, number 3.
My number 3 game of the year has been a underlining dark sneaky link. And it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Dungeon Dice Monsters on the GBA.
Bro! That game
Yes.
deserves
Okay.
an award.
Yes.
Yo! I emulate that game.
Yes,
sometimes.
absolutely.
That game is amazing.
It's amazing.
Oh my god.
Number
dude.
3 is a Yu-Gi-Oh game with a
yes.
GBA.
Dude,
Yes.
preach.
Hey,
Oh
so
my
I have
God, that game.
every night. I want to say at least once a week for every month this year. I kid you not. And we haven't talked about it
you're
because
speaking of my childhood.
I
man.
sit down in my bed and I play a round of this game. Now, a round of this game could take like 20 minutes, but it is the most engaging and fun. And I've been put in some crappy situations. I'm like, how am I going to dimension out of this? Is there any way I can
Are you
get
playing
out
this
of it?
on the GBA? What are you playing
I'm playing this on I have an emulator handheld
Oh, okay.
that has the game on it.
Oh, nice.
I need to get one of those. You
And
have one?
Yeah. I have
yeah,
that one
it's
over
so
there.
awesome. But it feels like a Game Boy. But man, like I have like not put this game down, and like I feel like I'm like topping it. So just the other day, I was like, I want to play this game more. I found out there's a mod on Tabletop Simulator that has the whole game on it,
Wow.
the whole freaking game, and there's an online community of people who play.
That's so cool.
And so now I'm like, I got the itch because I'm like, I want to play this now against other people. It has really just gotten to the point now where I feel like I've played it so much, I want to expand upon it. So that game has been, honestly, my year has been my nightly like mobile game.
That's awesome. Man.
Where I can look back at Retro Bowl and say Retro Bowl's been awesome, but this game has been like, I want to play this, and there's never been a moment I didn't want to play it. So that's my number 3 game of the year.
That is so shocking to me.
I did not have that on my radar that you're going to say that.
That's a game. I think about it. When I have emulators, I've emulated it a couple times. I've looked for my cartridge of it.
Yep.
I love that game. It just unrolling those dice. Do you even know what it is, Zach?
I played the one for Game Boy Color, so it's probably
you basically
similar.
unroll the dice and you can roll them in different patterns and create paths. And oh my god, dude!
It's like the perfect mixture of, and I can't believe the genre died of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't want to harp on it forever. But that would be my number 3.
Nice.
Just because of the fact like there has not been a lot of games to compete for it, but also on top of that, it's a hidden gem of a game.
Yeah.
It absolutely is.
Oh, dude, you made a great pick. That's a good one.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. I can go next.
Yeah.
My number 3, and I've really kicked this around a lot. But this is probably the 3rd best game I've played, almost to the end. I'm almost at the very end of this game. It's been very good, and that is Tunic. So it's a little game. It's kind of like a Zelda-style game mixed with Fez, mixed with a lot of different things. And it's very pleasant, really nice soundtrack. You're a little fox, and you're kind of exploring and doing puzzles. I think it's got really good pacing. It doesn't make you stick in any one dungeon for very long.
I do want to play it.
It's like little bite-sized Zelda type things. They do not make you stick in one space for too long. You're always kind of getting a different biome, a different zone, and it's been very good. So I don't think I've talked about it all on the podcast. I started playing it since our last one, but Tunic, very fun little game.
Nice. My number 3 is Bayonetta 3.
I saw that coming.
Crappy story, but nothing right home about. But the gameplay is so
It's tight.
fluid and tight that kept me from beginning to end playing. I like all the other Bayonettas. This one an amazing freaking soundtrack on it, like the other ones do. But what else to say? Great freaking action game, Bayonetta 3, number 3.
All right, solid number 3s. And this is where, in my opinion, I think I'm going to learn a lot about our years. My number 2 is going to be God of War Ragnarok. You guys did not play this one, right?
We didn't play. We did not play this one. So you're the only one that's played it out of all of us.
I'm the only one that played it. It's a great game, and like I gave the original God of War its game when it came out. It was the game of the year for me because there was just so much to do. And it was such a genre breaking game. Like for God of War, who was always like a simple like slash up, to now it's like, oh, this game is now a narrative story that's shot in one take that has a dynamic and it has so much more to it. It was awesome. So where this game, it does all the awesome things that it did before. It builds upon it. It just does everything right. There are some things that keep it back from being my game of the year. Some of it's just like after content. Like there's not a lot to do after you beat the game, which is kind of disappointing because like I feel like the first one, there was a whole Valkyrie like tangent you could have went on, to go after the Valkyries. But that was like, to me, it's still a great game. It's still a great freaking story. And I'm telling you right now, they're not done. And that's the thing that makes
I
me
thought they
so
were
happy.
done with this one.
I'm telling you right now,
There's
not
more.
done.
We're not. It's not even over.
No, in a way that you wouldn't expect it.
Okay.
So like, if you haven't played the game, the ending of itself makes complete sense on why I think this. But it's a phenomenal game.
I will. I will pick
recommend
it up at some point.
Yeah, I get it. Wait for it to go on sale if that's your narrative.
Yeah.
But in terms of single player narratives, like 10 out of 10, it would be, if it was a single player narrative game of the year award, it'd be my number 1.
Cool.
It's not.
God of War. Number 2, Travis.
Judy, you're number 2?
Well,
No.
we've been going boom,
We
boom,
only did.
boom,
Let's mix it up.
Okay.
boom, boom.
Neon White. I just beat this game today. I have dumped 30 hours into this freaking indie game. This game is unbelievable. I give it a classic rating. It is Breath of the Wild in that you get just a selection of these. So the concept of the game is first person. You are these like fallen, like I guess they call you neon demons. And basically they call you back into heaven to take care of these demons that got into heaven. And like you're the only ones that are allowed to like kill these demons, and they kind of use you. And if you go there, you can actually get to stay in heaven for a little bit or whatever. That's the concept. It looks like an anime, like when they show you like the characters talking. It's like it almost looks like a choose your own adventure game when it goes to the cutscenes. But you go through these levels. You have to take out these demons. You have to destroy all the demons in the levels. But what they are, it's a first person platforming speedrunning game. So what happens is you get these different cards, and it'll either be like a handgun or a shotgun or a rocket launcher, all this stuff. And you can shoot, once you pick it up, you can shoot with your one trigger and like shoot the demons, or you can discard it, and discarding it gives a different ability. So the handgun, you get a double jump, you get another jump in the sky. If you use the shotgun, you can like shoot in a different direction. If you use the like the rifle, you'll zoom kind of zoom forward. So you have to like speed run these levels, and you're like platforming, and you have to like on the fly think, boom, shoot that guy, boom, shoot that guy. Okay, I have to wait for this and hit this right at the right moment. It's so addicting. It is like one of those few games where my palms will sweat because I'm like I'm playing it so long, and I'm so hyper focused on what's going in front of me. I freaking adore this game. It's one of my favorite indie games I've ever played. It's right up my alley. Like I love that first-person platform because I used to do that with like the old Call of Duty games back in the day. Like do these like custom maps where you'd like platform and stuff. So this is like that on like steroids. The characters are funny. It's kind of like an anime, like the interactions and the voice acting between the characters. And as you go along in the levels, you can find these gifts. They're like hidden. You have to like go off the path and kind of like do some trickery to get to them. But once you do, you can go back to like, you can point like on the main map. Do you want to go to like the bar? Do you want to go to this or whatever? And then you can give those gifts to the characters. From there, that will unlock different dialogue with these characters, and it will unlock side quests. So they're like specialized, like like more tricky than the main game's missions. It's so freaking fun. You get to see as you go along, give these gifts. You also unlock memories because you can't remember like what happened. Like when you like died, everybody died that's there, but they're trying to figure out like, well, how did I get here? How do I know this character? How do I know this girl neon red? I'm neon white. Like what's my interaction? Did she betray me? Did this person betray me? And you, as you get these gifts, you actually tangle the mystery of this entire game. Amazing game. It's my number 2.
That's awesome. That is a game. I mean, I rolled out of bed one day and I heard one too many people tell me to buy it. Yeah. So I was half awake and I saw you were begging. I saw so cool. So I just opened up Steam and I bought it. Yeah. I fell back asleep and I never played it. And I'm gonna play. I think I have a list of games during Christmas break. I'm just gonna play just for fun, just to catch up. And I think that should be your first one you get to. Yeah. Yeah. So cool. That's great. What about you, Jacob? Did you do your number 2 already?
I did.
Okay. Well, I'm out of time.
You can't stall.
He stalled.
I have had a lot of trouble with this.
Okay.
An extreme amount of trouble with this. So I think what I'm going to do is...
Are you breaking the model?
This has been extremely difficult for me this last
break
week.
The model, then.
Extremely difficult.
I feel like I'm talking to a girlfriend. It's like... I'm choosing between you and another guy.
This truly pains me because I want to give this game my game of the year. I really do. But in good conscience, I can't because 2022 will always be the year of a different game. But if it wasn't literally a Breath of the Wild level game it was going up against, my game of the year would have been Immortality.
Okay.
Immortality. So,
okay. I'm tracking with you.
I've never talked about it on the podcast because I started playing it probably right after our podcast was going on. But Immortality, it's from Sam Barlow, who made Her Story.
Her Story. I know Her Story.
And made a game called Telling Lies, which I saw mixed things on that, so I never really.
I played both of those.
Yeah.
And I played Immortality.
Yeah. Immortality, I mean, basically, the concept is there's this actress that has gone missing, and it's basically set up to where you're going to get all these clips of her in the movie she was in that never came out to try to figure out what happened to her. And you're, watching clips, and then there's this match cut system where, you know what a match cut is in film?
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, where like you kind of like click on a thing and it'll cut to something that looks similar. And basically you're just you're pulling at all these threads to try to understand. I mean, in the first point, you're just trying to understand who are these people. Like, okay, there's this girl, there's this guy, she's in a lot of these movies, he helps make a lot of these movies. Okay, what's this movie about? Okay, this one's a crime thriller. What's this one? It's some kind of a weird Italian horror movie from the 60s. This one looks like it's almost like more modern day. And you're pulling at all these threads, and you're basically watching these clips, and some of them are creepy, some of them are funny, some of them are just on set goofing around, doing, whatever. What got me with this game was there's so much god dang good thematic storytelling going on. And you don't even realize it when you're in the first third of it, how much is happening underneath the surface. And you hit points where you start to unlock a mechanic, which you've seen it where, so I guess I could describe it because you may not play this. You can rewind and fast forward through clips.
Yeah.
And as you rewind, you hit points where
I've been playing on controller and it will rumble.
It'll rumble a little bit. And you don't realize what's going on when you first start playing. You don't know what that is. It's just rumbling. But if you rewind when it rumbles, it will other entities will pop up.
It'll overlay almost like on top of the film,
and it plays out differently. But they introduce these characters. I'll call them the one and the other one. But this female-looking character and this male-looking character,
they look very creepy,
and they look very creepy, and they sound like they're talking about gibberish. They sound like they're talking about nonsense, but you're intrigued. What are they talking about? They'll be talking about weird, eating people. They'll be talking about all sorts of weird stuff. But this is where this game took me to a different level. Was I was intrigued, but I wasn't really sure. So I kept trying to solve the mysteries, and then we would watch those backward clips as we went. But what happened was when we solved the core mystery of what was going on with the girl, we still had so many questions, but the things that those people were saying were finally starting to click.
Mm-hmm.
So Jess, I played this with Jess. We did every freaking thing you could do. We got every single clip. We fast forward. We rewound. We were making theories. We were making we had notebooks, and this game is telling a masterpiece level story.
Nice.
It is telling when you actually there is nothing wasted. There are no wasted clips. There is no backwards information that doesn't make sense. And when we finally were able to uncover and understand what was going on, it was like a gift playing this game and figuring out what those other people represent and literally what they are. And I really mean this in the highest praise. I feel like this game is like a David Lynch style story told, but I think that the way that they stuck the landing with this game was more satisfying than any single David Lynch game or movie or anything or show or anything like that. So I thought it was a 10 out of 10 game. It's a classic. Wow. I absolutely love it. And it was I would say almost a perfect game. My only issue was once you unlock all the clips, or when you're trying to unlock all the clips, when you get to only a couple missing, it feels extremely hard. How do I get these last couple clips? And my game was crashing because I was doing the match cut so much, and it was crashing it, and I got really frustrated by that.
Yeah.
But then when I got it, it was fine.
Me and Chelsea have been watching it, and I want to stick with it because we've not played as much as we played. Maybe 3 hours, 4 hours, maybe.
Yeah, we put 20 hours into this game.
My thoughts on it are, so I played all of these games from the studio so far, and so this is the third one. I like this one the least, but it does do the same thing really good that the other ones do. And the storytelling of once you watch so many clips, everything starts to domino effect. And it does that really well. My issue with the game, I don't mean to poo-poo on what you really enjoyed it. And it is engaging and stuff to us too. We're still trying to figure out what's going on. Maybe my mind will change. With her story and telling lies, I had to sit there with they have an in-game notepad, and I had to type up the way you got clips in that game where you were in front of a CRT monitor in the game. You could see the CRT monitor, and clips would pop up, and the first one would play. It's hey, blah, blah, and then we drove down from Phoenix. Okay, type in Phoenix, and what it does is it's transcribed all the video of all that's in the game, and you had to be a detective and actually listen for things and put two and two together. It's oh, well, who's Paul? They keep talking. Oh, Paul's a bad guy. Oh, and I'd have a whole thing of notes, and it's okay, this is notes and whatever. This game, I came from that thinking, and then in this game, I'm just I'm tapping on faces. I'm literally just moving my cursor over, and I hit a face.
Yeah.
And then I hit a doorway, or I hit this object, or I hit a glass, and I'm so I'm getting the story told in that same way. I am I'm kind of collecting these puzzle pieces one by one, and that is satisfying still. But Her Story and Telling Lies were both, I'm looking up queries and I'm looking up stuff, and I'm like, I feel like a detective. In this game, I'm just like, I feel like I'm getting there easier because I'm just tapping on something and then it just happens to me. So that's what I haven't liked, really. I'm just like, it just happens to me. Whereas those games, I had to really investigate.
I feel like to get the real answers in this game, you have to super investigate too.
Yeah.
But that's what I would tell you. You probably don't know very much yet.
Yeah. And maybe so. Like I said, I haven't beat it, but still, like that storytelling, I'm still getting that I got in the old games that I like from that studio. So
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I'm still early on. I still need to play more.
Yeah. No, it's a really special game, and I really liked it a lot. That all makes sense. I feel like Her Story was like a demo compared to this. Like Jess and I played Her Story together, and we liked it, and like this game just what it's doing story wise and the story it's telling. It is a story about creation and destruction, and to create you have to destroy. And as a creative person, you're a creative person too. Those themes super resonated with me, and how far they push those themes. And how many ways they look at it.
From a filmmaking perspective,
incredible.
I got to see stuff on. So I've seen the Rewind, and they'll like overlay something, but I've also seen some amazing filmmaking where like the girl will be in the shot and the camera will pan over and it'll be that other girl and stuff. And then I fast forward and it gives me the other clip, and I'm like, that is like Einstein level stuff. Like as somebody who makes film, it's like that's Einstein level stuff.
And that
like,
stuff continues. And there is a clip in this game. It is a David Lynch thing that is in it.
Yeah. The same scene you just saw is so much different backwards.
Yes.
And it's crazy. Like you'll hit the button to rewind and a new character will pop up. And it'll show like a whole thing, and it's like, whoa!
Well,
like you have to be Einstein level to do some of that stuff. Like,
and that's where, and I gotta be careful what I say because I want you to continue on with this game. And this game is such a celebration of cinema specifically, and the way you can use it to tell a story. And like the characters are passionate about it, especially as you get further and further into the game. You realize that. That's to me like a thing. Like Her Story is a cool, like little neat mystery. Like, well, what's this girl? What's going on? But it's not like it's not having meta conversation about art and creativity and film.
It was more. I felt really. And maybe this is a much better group game, I will say. Because Her Story and Telling Lies, I sat alone at the computer and I like almost cosplayed as an investigator. And by the end of that, I was like, God, I felt like I did like a 9 to 5. Like I really went through these clips. I was like, that's the truth or whatever. And that felt rewarding. I was like, I've never felt that in a game.
You're playing it with Chelsea. Maybe you would like it playing by yourself. I don't know. Maybe it's better with a group.
No,
I love
we're talking about it. So she's with me, and it's like we're watching a movie. So that's why I kind of like I like the investigative stuff more solo, but it's more, this one's more group focused. I think if somebody's sitting with me and I'm trying to detective, maybe that's kind of boring and it's whatever. Whereas this is like you're watching a movie that transforms. It's like it's like you're modifying the movie in real time, and that I think that's more garnered towards a group experience. Like,
yeah, it is. Well, the other thing is that's so cool is when I say 3 movies, and you get this. The 3 movies in this game are completely different style movies.
Yeah.
One is like a 60s Italian psycho horror movie.
Yeah.
One is like a gritty 70s crime thriller in like New York City. And the last one is like a wannabe Mulholland Drive style like 90s, like late 99 2000s movie. And they have so much fun playing in each of those genres that I'm astounded. Maybe because you know the tricks of the trade with making movies. I think it's so incredible how different they got each of those things looking and sounding and the acting. I mean, they
nailed it. Yeah.
They made this. I was watching an interview with the main girl in it. They filmed all 3 of the movies. They filmed it in 2 months.
Wow.
Last year.
Wow.
So, like, from a filmmaking, but this is like, we talk about how much work Dweebs was. This is like unbelievable level to me. To make 3 different movies, chop them up, make behind the scenes parts, then load them into a game interface, and then film all these other weird things.
Yeah.
Crazy what they did. Crazy.
Yeah. I really like that studio.
Anyway, that's my number 2.
Yep.
It didn't win by the skin of its teeth.
Yeah. And I wonder what our number 1s are going to be.
What's your number 1, Jacob? Let's go there.
Multiplayer games. I actually was pulling it up because I wanted a perspective to give you guys. That way I wasn't on like a dumb kind of standpoint. So my most played game this year was 2K22 for NBA. That was my most played game technically in PlayStation terms. But in actuality, I've put over 200 hours in Call of Duty, the Call of Duty franchise. So I've played like Call of Duty Warzone, Warzone 2, and WW2. So I'm a multiplayer boy. So my game of the year should be pretty obvious. My game of the year is 100% obviously Elden Ring. Elden Ring.
Hey, it's Elden Ring.
It's Elden Ring.
I was about to say it had to be Call of Duty, but
Elden Ring's
it has to be Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And here's why. I have good memories, but there is nothing more fun than getting on a game. And here's what I'm going to say. For a Souls game, for me.
Yeah, you showed up for this.
Great job.
Yeah.
Way to create a game that not only is accessible to the casual crowd,
yeah, everybody
it's
showed
simple,
up for this.
it's understandable, but now it gives you the desire to want to dip your foot in other games that you may not have enjoyed in the past because you realize there is a joy to grinding to beat a boss. There is those moments in which you can enjoy them. I wish you made multiplayer more simple in the older games. I understand you don't have to. But Elden Ring did everything like darn near perfect, and you don't get that nowadays. You don't get a good game that comes out the moment it releases and it be that darn good.
Yeah. And in a year, and this is the first year. I'm just gonna say it's Elden Ring for me.
It's
too.
Elden Ring.
It's Elden
Is this
Ring.
the first time we're all the same across the board?
I think it's the first time.
So.
And that's crazy. It's just across the board. Whereas last year I gave it to Ratchet & Clank, which believe me, I really, really loved. But nothing last year felt like this is definitely my.
Yeah.
Whereas this year, Elden Ring, from the freaking moment I got halfway through it, I was like, this is going to be freaking number one unless something comes out of
I
nowhere.
mean, I have over 90 something hours in the game.
It just the multiplayer and the memories I have like of playing with my friends and playing with you guys and like the funny things that would happen. It's like, oh, we gotta take down the dragon, we gotta take down this. Oh my gosh, and like the feeling of the multiplayer stuff, discovering stuff on my own and getting into caves and funny stuff I'd find. Like, oh my god, what is
those
this?
Caves and the weird, like the hands and that game is just magic.
It's
magic and.
It's the Souls formula brought to fruition, like to the mountain.
And I loved Immortality, obviously. And when I was debating about putting that over Elden Ring, I couldn't get out of my head this idea that not only did I love this game, because I love this series or this maker of games, and you and Kenny and guys in our fantasy football team, like Adam.
Adam said it's the best game he's played in a long time.
Like people that I never would have conceived of playing a From Software game loved it and put 100 hours. It's just
it is also evidence that they finally ironed out the issues with that series, because it's like when I was playing those other games and I'm like, why is the checkpoint? I have to go through and do all this crap again. That's not fun. Absolutely. And they finally ironed out everything to the point where I was playing it laughing, going, they have fixed every issue. Like there wasn't anything. There was still some multiplayer stuff that was kind of weird, whatever, but it was the easiest it's ever been.
You know why? Because it's the easiest it's ever been.
It's the easiest it's ever been.
So I don't give a crap anymore.
And the major issues of the shortcuts and all this other stuff I had issues with, it was like they fixed it.
The crap I'm nitpicking on, like I'm taking
it's very little for me to pick, be picky on.
Like I wish we could all be on horses. But you know what? If you play on a PC, you can. Like, you can mod it.
Yeah.
But, on the console version, you can't. But, dude, it's...
Yeah, even that nitpick, it's like, in the bigger scope of it, they just did an incredible job.
Again, I just cannot believe how good... Dude, you don't get games at launch that aren't a buggy mess.
Yes, and that's the other thing.
They didn't do that.
It was amazing from the beginning.
I get on there, and I'm like, this was the most memorable things with Adam. You get giddy when you do something. Me and Adam are giddy. We're facing Godfrey. What's Godfrey?
Godfrey.
Yeah. When we fought him the first time, I mean, we sound like a bunch of schoolgirls.
Yeah.
Dude, when you get in a flow with those games and you start slaying boss, nothing touches.
Yeah.
Nothing touches.
Nothing touches the feeling of it. And then now they just dropped a new update, and we're all texting, "It's time." So we're about to ride up again. We're about to saddle up and go at it again.
In the span of the whole series, I still like Bloodborne for the weirdness that it has, but this is number 2 for me in the whole Soul series personally, and it's easily I could see being people's number 1. And then it just was amazing.
It's just a no-brainer, in my opinion.
Amazing game.
Game of the year.
Game of the year by far.
The first ever DweeBros stamp of approval.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever had a.
Did Breath of the Wild? No,
it wasn't mine.
He wouldn't get on Breath of the Wild.
It was not my game of the year.
And then
2018 got spicy because I think it was a mixture between Spider-Man, God of War, and
I said Red Dead.
and it was Red Dead.
I think I gave it to Spider-Man, which in
And I chose God of
retrospect,
War.
I hadn't played Red Dead yet. I wish I had played Red Dead because I didn't feel good about picking Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's good, but it didn't.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just never have gotten on the same page. I think 2020 was
First year.
like a wash.
Since 2017.
Wait, you gave it to Last of Us 2 in 2020, didn't
I
you?
did.
Oh, we were so close.
Yeah, we were. He
I
We were
said
so
no.
close.
He
Just
ruined
because you
that
played
one.
it at the wrong time.
yeah. He ruined that. That one could have been a clean sweep. But this one's here's the thing. This is the one I walk away with, and I don't think we're gonna look back 3 years from now and be like, that was a mistake.
No, there's no way. I
We
would
both
look back.
did Death Stranding, didn't we?
For
That was a
2019.
mistake.
Yeah.
That
And
was a
you
mistake.
didn't. There's always been a holdout.
Yeah.
I almost gave it to Immortality, but
Thank God. you did not
in
do it.
reviewing, I was like, I have to bend the knee.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was the game of the
That's
year.
how I felt about Neon White. Neon
I
White
get
is my.
that.
I was playing Neon White. I've dumped so many hours and I've been addicted to it. And it's like, dude, if Elden Ring hadn't come out, Neon White's number one.
Yeah.
You just can't-
Easy.
you gotta
But it's like
appreciate what
Elden
it
Ring
is.
was this massive cultural phenomenon. You played it. Everybody that is. I mean, we've talked to
Last
death
year
about
we
it.
didn't have a one pretty much.
No, we
I gave it to
didn't.
Halo Infinite, and I will say it. For me, it deserved a one because I really liked that campaign.
Yeah,
and I
for
had
that
fun.
year.
We played that.
Yeah, we
multiplayer
played
a
a
lot.
lot.
They didn't maintain it for crap, but
Yeah.
like Immortality, like it's so funny. Last year was like hard to find a one, and this year it's like I had 2 ones.
Yeah, this year was
I
the
had
first
2
year.
ones and
Yeah.
a lot of 3s.
Yep.
That's how I felt.
This year was the first.
Yeah.
I felt like we're coming out of it, and I think next year is a bloodbath. And I put that on
Yes.
Twitter. It's freaking Armored Core, Zelda, Final Fantasy 16, Starfield.
I hope so, dude. Honestly, if I can tell you right now, we're casting the net now. We've given you a game of the year. Let's look forward. Let's talk about our most excited parts.
Yeah, what are we most
of
excited
20,
for next
like
year?
23.
I
Number
keep
one.
going back to Starfield.
I want Starfield
that
to hit,
gameplay
man.
demo didn't do a lot for me, but the potential of that game
Hey,
and going to Star
I'm gonna be honest,
Yeah.
with you guys. Like my pants get so tight when I think about the idea of playing that game.
getting Andromeda flashbacks.
Yeah.
But I'm just, I know, but it makes me mad because I'm worried. I am deathly worried because man, No Man's Sky kind of gave me that same feeling. I was like, this is going to be the space exploration
Yeah.
multiplayer RPG. It's just what I want. Give it to me. And I need Starfield to do this. I need it. I need it. I want a space grind. I want to live in it.
I want another space game. I
Yeah.
really do.
I want a good one though. I want one like I want to make my ship pink. I want to spin around the circle 5 times. I want to blow something up. I want to do some crazy stuff in space.
I
with
was
my
I was
friends.
burned recently by Bethesda with Fallout 4 and just some of the recent games to where I'm coming in very cautious with this one. But it's Game Pass day one, so
Yeah.
I'll play
Yeah.
it day one. So
Yeah,
I'll
who
be
cares?
there. My number one has got to be Tears of the Kingdom, but I mean Armored Core 6. I freaked out over that. Like
Yeah.
it's hard, and Final Fantasy 16 looks amazing too. And you
Oh,
know,
I will say I'm interested in
And
16 after playing
Atomic Heart is coming out next year.
I'm about to
like-
play
That
Crisis
looks fun,
Core.
man.
Yeah, next year I think we finally come out of this freaking pandemic wave of like development hell.
I'm going to
and
play
stuff.
Crisis Core because I want to check that out.
Oh, Diablo 4 is next year.
I know
I'm
Diablo
looking
4 is
forward to
next
that.
year. I probably won't play that.
Hogwarts Legacy also looks
Hogwarts freaking Legacy.
Good. Hey, that's
Yeah, that's
low.
coming out
That's
too.
That's good. That's a
that
sneaky
thing
link.
looks
All
good.
right.
My wife is really wanting to play that. She's like, we
Hey,
get
it's gonna
this.
be. It's gonna be.
That was gonna come
wish-
out end of this year, and she was like looking forward to that
again.
for Christmas. But.
Being a multiplayer boy, I wish there was some kind of multiplayer
And then
element.
there's RE4 remake.
you know,
oh yeah, it's coming out
Yeah.
next
Wait a
year.
minute.
I don't even have
forgot.
that on there.
There's an Avatar game coming out next year. Hey, after seeing this movie,
Oh
Put me in the
my
world.
I would
gosh.
do an Avatar.
Yeah, I'll do
like
Avatar
a,
game.
Like you could do a
Hogwarts
shooter.
is
You
Hogwarts
really
is up
could.
there for me, especially after coming off watching all the movies. I need Starfield to be great. Because
Man, there is an amazing amount of games next year.
Yeah.
I wonder what's going to get delayed next year. What do you think's not going to make the date?
Legend of Zelda.
Really? I think that's going to make it. I think that's
if anything, it'll get pushed to fall.
I think that's
that is possible, but it will come out next year.
You want to be honest? Number 1 and 2, I think Zelda will get pushed most likely
because they keep talking about it. When Nintendo keeps talking about it, it's like okay. 'Cause
But I
when they're
also
ready,
think-
they're ready.
Starfield might get pushed,
Really? Again?
dude. And that just because I'm used to it at this point.
Yeah. That you know what? I think you're right.
I
It might
don't.
be, it's going to be
Like, and I'm
Starfield.
gonna be sad. But are you not like? Do you not have that feeling? Like it definitely could happen.
I live in a reality where I don't really care if any game gets pushed because my backlog is so immense. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But I think that they're going to release it.
I
when
hope
they
so.
said.
I hope so. I think Hogwarts is a lock. I think Final Fantasy 16 is a lock.
16's a lock. That guy's the best director on earth.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's a lock, too.
in terms of delivering when he says he's going to deliver.
I think those things are locked. I just want to really,
Square Enix seems like they're in a much different position. Whereas Final Fantasy VII the remake took forever.
Yep.
And then this one's like, hey, we're putting Crisis Core. I just got it. I've been playing it. And then next year we're putting out the second part. Yeah. And I feel like now that we got the freaking engine down, we're like moving along.
Yeah. So can I ask you guys one last question?
Yeah.
Wait, is Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 next year?
Next year.
Yeah.
And 16?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
that's what I was saying.
I didn't realize that.
That's what I put on Twitter. I was like, good luck.
And already Remake 4.
Good luck
and
choosing
Silent Hill 2.
Dude, our day.
Silent Hill 2.
We're going to do a top 5 next year.
Oh, that's going to be dangerous.
We're going to do a lot of honorable mentions.
What was your guys' biggest disappointment of this year?
Horizon Forbidden West.
Horizon was I just don't return games to Amazon. I didn't even know you could do that after you open it, and I did it.
It was really.
Here's how you know that game was a disappointment. I love Zero Dawn. It was like my number 2 game.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
I love Zero Dawn, and on the flip side of that, I beat Forbidden West. And I put Tunic over it, which is a little Zelda indie style game that's 8 hours long.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even give an honorable mention. Forbidden West brutally disappointed me.
It was the anti-Elden Ring.
It was
not explorative.
Fun world game, characters.
They crapped the bed and then I hated freaking Alloy.
Yeah.
It just was
crazy.
A bummer. I just got
and I loved
3 hours
the first
in.
one. That game sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's
obviously Call of Duty. I can't explain anymore. I mean, 3,000 developers, 3 years in the making, and you get 7 maps on release. You suck, man. Go fly a kite. Go fire your CEO. So it's all good.
7 maps.
7 maps. Don't you dare.
If they're good maps, I don't.
No, they all suck. One of them got hung up in a legal dispute. So they couldn't rotate them for 2 weeks.
What was the craziest news you think this year? I think the acquisition stuff was
craziest news.
Acquisitions
were huge.
Some that are not even finished.
No, mine is that NCAA football is returning. That's the biggest news in my world.
That's exciting news.
It sucks. It got delayed. That was another disappointment. It got delayed to next.
Oh, are they able to make it?
They're making college football games, which means there is please Lord, there's a chance we'll have basketball games again. NCAA basketball games.
Yeah.
And I loved NCAA basketball games. It was one of those things I grew up on. So it's definitely for me. That's what's up there too. So, but yeah, acquisitions. I mean, it's been a big year for acquisitions.
That was like the talk of every single podcast. I think we just kept talking about that. We talked about streaming or the game streaming. We talked every podcast a lot.
You know, it was a giant disappointment. Zach losing a bet.
I know.
Huge bet.
I was going to say the craziest news was that they're going to shut down Stadia next year.
Yeah.
But they announced it this year, so.
Hey, Jacob, please.
It was announced this year.
I wasn't here to.
Bet?
In my opinion, honest, Zach, you're holding the L on this one.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to be
I'm not gloating.
Watch my shelf, loser of the bet.
I get it. But it fits in the parameters of what Travis has said.
And
the store is shut down right now.
Close. Over-unders aren't about
close. No. If I play, I'll give you an example. I've been doing sports betting. I lost a 6-pick parlay. The Cowboys almost beat the Jags.
Money wasn't on the line.
But he said
it doesn't mean anything.
He said if money was on the line, I would have paid you.
If I lived in gray, I wouldn't do anything.
Okay, let me know what you do in this position. Last podcast, I think it was last podcast. Travis offered me a truce. Would you take this truce? He said the truce because you can't buy more games right now. The store is shut down.
Yes.
You can play it, though.
You can still play the service.
But he told me I had to drop that it was announced. And
you said drop what?
You said I would accept a tie. You said we'd do a truce.
I said I'll accept a truce if you let go of the idea that announcing is the same thing.
They announced that it was shut down.
Here's the reality.
And I got that within 3 years, and I said no.
You all hashed this out in a week. On the month I was not here. Because if I was here,
we were alone in this house yelling.
Yes,
no one else was here.
I get it.
In a corner of a basement.
To end the year, to end 2022.
Yeah.
Travis won the bet.
Okay.
Travis won the deal.
Okay.
And that's just it is.
If that's what you want to say,
balance has been restored. That's why you need 3 people.
You need 3.
Okay, hold that thought. I have something else, to say about this. I have something else to say about it, but I want to thank. Well, first, you guys for being. Shut up, AI.
Dude.
My gosh.
You're trying to be sentimental.
It's taken over. It's like, don't thank them. I want to thank you guys for. Hey, since 2017, you guys have showed up and we've done this podcast together.
Yep.
It's better than ever. We got this new space to do it in.
5 years, 5 phases.
1,000 subscribers we hit this year.
We did a thank you for that.
Thank you for that.
1,000 subscribers. That's a huge deal.
That is a huge deal. Huge milestone. Thank you guys for watching. We're on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, and we're just going to keep getting better and better each year.
Yeah. I think there's some things in store for next year for the podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like we do this every year.
Production things.
It's like a little kid.
We have.
I know we have changed. Now, hold on.
The audio is way better.
Yes, the
audio is way better.
I've been editing. Not that I'm better at editing, but I do a little bit
to
of
lay the
pictures.
platform.
Yeah.
To lay the platform for most people who are listening, you have to understand you're talking to 3 individuals who some work multiple jobs, some work long jobs.
Yeah.
This is complete side hobby.
This is just a side thing we do.
So like. One, to get the quality then which we're pushing out just shows passion. Like Travis, Zach, the stuff you guys willing to do, the things above that. But it's just one of those things where it's like you really get to appreciate, one, the fact you get to do the hobby, but 2, like we don't get paid. We don't take sponsorships. No one's reached out.
You don't get paid?
Hey, I was about to say, what?
We don't get paid.
But as far as I know, I don't think anyone's reached out to us saying and I know we're not big enough, and that's never been
We got
the goal.
reached out by that one company that had us want us to
that was a
stream the
scam.
game.
Was it?
No,
Yeah.
no, it was a scam. They were nice.
It was a real game.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the brush one.
And we streamed it.
Wasn't there a brush one that reached out to you?
Oh no, that was an email, and it was somebody wanting me to review a hairbrush, and I kept ignoring it, and they sent like 5 emails in a row, and I finally said, if you send it to me, I will review this hairbrush. And they said, oh, you actually have to buy it. And I said, no, then I wrote back, no.
So now that we're at 1,000 subscribers, who knows? A lot of people might be knocking on our
Squarespace
doors.
might reach out. Somebody crazy.
Oh,
Squarespace, I could pitch a sucker of it.
Yeah.
That's the one thing this show's missing is ad reads.
Hey, honestly,
could use some ads.
you know what? Listen,
we've advertised for Monster before. You've had Monster
I've advertised for Monster.
2023 is the year of ad reads.
Ad reads.
Yeah.
You're going to
expect ads.
The Jacob Ware promise is you will get 1 ad read.
Well, listen, hey, luckily for you guys, monetization can be turned on now because with 1,000 subscribers, so you could see ads finally. I know you guys have been asking
waiting
for it.
for the ads.
I know you guys
have been
content
at this point. Ads are just content.
Yeah.
It's just extended content.
Aren't you guys excited?
Slap that like button.
That's how we're gonna end this whole thing.
In the 5 years we've been working on this, James Cameron has made Avatar 2, but it took him 10 years. So it took him twice as long to make Avatar 2 as
how many podcasts? We put so many podcasts out, and he put out 1 freaking movie.
I know.
Avatar 2.
He's lazy.
He is.
He's
a
also,
lazy dev.
Bethesda's not even released a game.
Yeah.
We've made 70 whatever podcasts.
Wow.
And we made a half a game in Dweeb's Champ.
We have had some output.
Champ.
Champ. I remember Champ.
It's
like we know that there's something in the works about dweebs.
So
we made more music videos than Michael Jackson.
Hey.
What's he up to?
All his lazy ass put out was that 4K restoration.
All he did was a remake. He did a remake.
He did a hologram. He did a hologram concert.
I'm tired of Michael Jackson.
He did a hologram concert in London.
I'm tired of freaking remakes.
It's like Whitney Houston. She did a hologram concert too.
So to end off this year, I have one last thing.
You asked a robot.
I had a prompt for ChatGPT, and I asked it to make a news article about how Travis lost the Google Stadia bet.
Oh my gosh.
And I took that bet. I took what it said. I took the entire article with the title, and I made it into an actual. I went to a news article generation.
Oh my!
And
goodness.
I have generated the article into a fake website. It has ads and stuff on it. It has articles on the side.
Sponsored by Squarespace.
So let me read that. This
Keyword
isn't me.
Fake.
Yeah,
Keyword
fake news.
Fake.
Jacob's on Travis's side. I have somebody on my side.
You told the computer to be on your side.
AI. So here is what the AI came up with for this article. Here's the tagline. Here's the headline. Travis loses bet on Google Stadia's success.
Jack off to this at night.
100%. He 100% sit there. Hey, don't touch me right now. I'm looking at this.
And I made the image.
He made a little good image.
Put this on the screen, but the image is Google Stadia has been disintegrated.
What's
okay.
wrong with you? There's no.
And this is the AI. I didn't say to tell it to do any of this. In a surprising turn of events, local gamer and self-proclaimed tech expert Travis has admitted to losing a bet on the success of Google's gaming platform Stadia. Travis had previously been vocal in his belief that Stadia would revolutionize the gaming industry and had confidently placed a bet with his friends on its success. However, it appears that the platform has not lived up to expectations, and Travis has been forced to eat his words. I really thought Stadia was going to change the game, in quotations, Travis said in a recent interview, but it just hasn't caught on like I thought I would. I guess I was wrong. The news of Travis's loss has sparked discussions among the gaming community, with some speculating that the lack of exclusive titles and the need for a strong internet connection may have contributed to Stadia's underwhelming performance. Despite the setback, Travis remains optimistic about the future of gaming and is already looking for his next big bet. I may have lost this round, but I'm not giving up, he said. I'll be back and ready to make some more bets in no time.
What the heck?
Only time will tell if Travis's confidence in the gaming industry will be vindicated. But for now, it looks like he'll be paying up on his bet. I didn't. That was ChatGPT. So
you know what?
I'm excited for the future of AI.
You're into arts and crafts and fiction.
Hey, seriously, that's a good fiction.
So,
that was a great.
AI's on my side
for you.
AI's on my side. So.
Now I'm gonna go to the AI and just actually put the terms of the bet in and ask who won.
Okay.
So
I'd be interested in knowing what happens there.
I'll just you give it prompts. Hey, give me a news article about why I was right. I'll just put in the text of the bet.
Oh, you're trying to spread misinformation. Misinformation.
Oh, wait a minute, that's what you just did.
Wow, what a way to end the.
Because you just said he said something and he didn't.
Well, the AI found it. So
found it up your ass.
Happy New Year's. Holy crap. Have a good one.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next year. Let us know your top 3. What is your top 3 movie, music? Oh, we didn't do music. Games. TV
Swift.
shows.
Real quick, Taylor Swift.
Michael Jackson, he put out that thing this year. So thank you, Michael. Thank you for a good year. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next year.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Take care.